On behalf of Downtown Division and the Chamber, we would like to welcome you all and thank you all for coming. We have representatives from Finney County, City of Garden City, and City of Holcomb here tonight. I think what we're going to do is we're going to have each representative get up and present their information, and then we'll take questions after all three are done. From Finney County, we have Commission Chair Larry Jones. From the City of Garden City, we have Vice Mayor Roy Setsna, and from the City of Holcomb, we have Mayor Gary Newman. We'll let you take over, Commissioner Jones.
Thank you. Well, I think I'm preaching to the choir. I think you guys have all heard this spiel. Anyway,
you're okay too.
Oh, okay. See, we don't have these fancy things in the county, just the city. To start with, what I'd like to address the voters of Finney County is that our sales tax is getting ready to sunset or expire. Quarter-cent sales tax that we use to pay off the LEC, which is the law enforcement center. But what we'd like to do is extend that tax another 8 or 9 years to pay for a new facility that would combine our juvenile justice, our adult corrections, and our district court offices. Right now we have those three operations scattered all over Garden City, and we hope by bringing them together we can utilize our staff better and be able to cross-train our staff, and that way we'll be able to cut down on hopefully on the number of people in the future that we'll have to hire to run these programs. We rent these buildings currently except for one. It's the old district court offices, which are downtown, and we will probably put it up for sale if we do proceed with this project. The sales tax, I don't know how to put it other than that most property owners I think would be in favor of sales tax, because probably 30 to 40% of the sales tax that we collect in Finney County and that we'll use for this project are paid by citizens outside of Finney County. And so, you know, evidently most Finney Countyans in the past believe that sales tax is a fair way to build capital projects. And so that's kind of what we've been thinking about on this project. The state pays us rent that we use to rent facilities, but as you all know, the state's budget is in a precarious position, so we don't know if those funds will be available in the future. But at the present time, we collect about $80,000 to $90,000 from the state of Kansas that helps pay the rent. What we will do in the future is, if we still get these funds, is offset some of the cost of the building and maintenance of the building and those type of things. Also probably use it to help pay down the bond faster. Presently, we project it will take 8 to 9 years to pay this off. I don't know, I guess, Mr. Session, you want to start? Go from the city's perspective, and then we'll answer questions.
Thank you, Commissioner Jones. Just a little history behind this. Back in 1997, the citizens of the county passed a bond to build the LEC, the Law Enforcement Center, using sales tax. Again, as Commissioner Jones stated, it's going to get paid off early. In 2014, there'll be enough revenue that we can pay off the LEC. Again, this is not a tax increase. Some people think it is, but it's not. It's just renewing the same sales tax that we currently have. The county is looking at using it to build the facility that they're proposing for the three services. The city is going to be using it to offset some budget shortfalls and to stabilize the mill levy that we have in the city. The shortfalls that we're looking at are down the road in the future in budget. Approximately, we're really looking at some shortfalls due to revenue shortfalls from fees that we've been collecting from the Shulman project, and those will be going away in a couple of years. We're really looking at trying to stabilize the mill levy from the aspect of shifting from property tax to sales tax. Sales tax, everybody pays for it. Over 50%, like Commissioner Jones stated, 50% of the sales tax is collected from citizens that reside outside the city limits and outside of the county. So we look at that as being a more fair way to help with our budget. Again, we'd like for you to vote on March 4th. That's the date when the vote will come, March 4th. That was anything else that you have?
Well, I might mention that presently we take care of approximately in a year's time 800 clients between these three facilities. So, you know, we're desperately in need of trying to get these things combined in one area so we can better manage it. It's a ever-growing problem that we have to take care of. I guess I'm open to questions.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gary. I'm going to have Gary come up and talk about what the city of Holcomb is going to do with their portion of the sales tax if it does pass. Gary?
Thank you. First, the city of Holcomb, as a council, fully supports the continuation of what we refer to as a continuation of the sales tax. With the work that the city of Garden City has done and the county in really focusing on making this area kind of a regional retail hub, it's an opportunity for everyone to really capitalize on this tax that currently exists. Commissioner Jones alluded to the fact that it's not a new tax, it's a continued tax, and that's kind of what we try to communicate within the community. And it's, you know, we really look at it as kind of a guest tax, is with the number of people that are coming in spending money from out of the area, generates money for both the county, or for the county and both the city of Garden City and the city of Holcomb. We haven't heard much negative feedback. We've had a couple people ask about why not contribute that money back to the county like we're doing with the LEC tax today. A lot of it just comes down to stabilization of the mill levy. Our council has done a really good job, a very good job over the last 6 years on trying to stabilize the mill levy, reducing it. We've been able to reduce it 4 of the last 5 years, and still be able to set money aside from reserves. And so we think with that income, with the additional income coming in, it'll help us continue to stabilize the mill levy and improve on the infrastructure of the city. As citizens of Finney County, everyone will still be paying that tax. It's just that small contribution that we generate that the city wants to use to stabilize the mill levy. It's really all I can think of. Like I said, with the same kind of idea that the city of Garden City has, and just trying to really focus that on stabilization of the mill levy. We don't. I don't think any of us are comfortable with the turnover of the council. We really don't want to earmark that money for anything in particular. So I think if we put it towards the general fund and focus that on the mill levy, as councils turn over and different ideas come forward, we don't earmark it for one thing and lose sight of that in the future.
Questions?
I know I've heard the county say that it would be beneficial to have all these agencies under one roof. It would be interesting to hear from the agencies to see how it would benefit their operations and their profession.
Fair enough question. Katrina, Beth, who wants to?
I'll start.
Okay.
Mic up to the mic.
There you go.
And would you mind kind of restating what Keith asked, just in case on TV they didn't hear or see it?
I take it that you're wanting to know how will it benefit each one of the agencies. I'm from the Juvenile Detention Center, and one of the things that happens with us at least 3 times a week, we have to call out to youth services to have somebody drive over to see one of the kids in our building. It takes them 15 minutes to get there, and then they'll spend their time with the youth, and then it takes them 15 minutes to drive back. We've had days where they've had to make 4 trips, and that's quite a bit of time. You know, that's 2 hours on the road when they could be using it if they were right next door, just walking right next door dealing with their youth. We have parents who come in on a daily basis to see their youth. They ask us a lot of questions. We're having to get them over to youth services. Youth services now comes into our facility 7 days a week. We're doing drug and alcohol classes with the kids, and it's somebody from youth services who is coming over to do those drug and alcohol classes with us. Area mental health also comes in, but we rely upon youth services to do a lot of programming with our youth. And it's because of those programs that we're able to give kids a better option in their life. And by working together side by side, they're spending less time on the road, they're right there to help us with our kids and to have better kids. Anything else?
Curtis, you want to address the district court's needs?
Curtis Jacobs from the 25th Judicial District. We run the court services program for our district, and the officers are all stationed here in Finney County. We currently supervise around 450 clients at any given time. What we found and what we anticipate the greatest benefit will be is that in a lot of cases our clients overlap with the clients from the adult community corrections or the youth services. May not be the same client, but they may be from the same family. Or it may be someone who doesn't succeed in a diversion program with youth services, ends up on juvenile probation. They may or may not succeed with us, and then they get put back onto some kind of intensive supervision. So there's a considerable amount of communication required to hand these files back and forth. We believe that some loss is occurring because the agencies can't readily share the information. They have to call one another, fax the files, do things like that. We believe if they were literally right across the hall from one another, they could communicate more effectively. They could share information about maybe one agency has a youth while another has an adult from the same family of origin. Most of these issues can be tracked back to family problems in the home or something like that. So if we can get all of these together under one roof, share the information better, cross-train our staff so that we can provide more programs, more thorough programs to more people with the same staffing that we have, all of the agencies should benefit.
Scott, you have a question?
Yeah, is there any concern about having the youth and adult offenders or probation people together in the same room?
The question was whether we'll have a problem intermingling the adult clients with the youth clients. I don't know, Beth or Katrina, you guys would probably be best at
Your
addressing
facility
that.
actually has,
You'll have to come on up
okay.
so the TV audience can hear what your answer. State your name too.
Beth Beavers with Adult Corrections. Currently, right now, and I don't mean to speak for Curtis, they currently report to court services, and that has worked over the years, I believe. With ours, a lot of times, our adults will come in and they're reporting to us as the adults, and then they're driving up to youth services to see their children's probation officers. So we're causing a lot of considerable time on these probationers. Most of them are underemployed, blue-collar workers, and by taking them away from their jobs for this amount of time really can cost them jobs, which then can lead to some public safety issues. So really some of these efficiencies can lead to some public safety.
That answer your question, Scott? Sure. This facility will be a very secure facility. Currently, in the juvenile detention center, we're going to remodel an intake area. So when the police officers or the sheriff's officers deliver youth there, that'll be a little more secure area. I don't know, Stuart, do you want to address anything about the architecture of the building or how it's designed, or what's the advantages of putting it on this building? Or
I didn't realize I was going to be here in an official capacity, and I can sure address a couple of things. We have spent some time with the different divisions and have got their needs down. We haven't got to the point of actually designing the facility yet, other than we know it's going to be directly connected to the juvenile detention center, and it would be connected by a secure corridor, meaning that you could get from one side to the other through the use of either keypads or key lock systems or something like that. But the actual design of the facility itself, we haven't got that far yet, other than establishing what their program needs were, and that allowed us to then determine or define how many square feet the facility would have. And we have looked at the site to make sure that there was adequate room for the facility to be built, along with the required or the necessary parking that goes along with that. And it's plenty adequate as far as the amount of space that is available. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Sorry, it's just, what's your last name? And
Stuart Nelson.
Take your hearing.
Yeah.
TV might want to know who they
Huh?
TV might want to know who it is.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's in the room.
Stuart Nelson, Gibson Mancini Chronicle in Nelson.
There we go.
Yeah, no, you see.
Stuart, the general public may not realize that when JDC was built, it was built in order to flip-flop it in case we ever had to add on to it. And so that wall over there where the gymnasium is, that would be the west wall, is what you all are talking about taking down to connect these facilities, is that correct?
Yes, when it was originally designed in our office designed that facility also, it was designed to expand onto the west, and again, at the time we didn't know for sure what expansion might occur. We actually have left space available to add a future expansion to the juvenile detention center. So there is a connecting link, but we have allowed for an additional square footage to expand the JDC also, and there was enough space on the site to expand it, and really not knowing. We've talked with Katrina, and no one knows what the future holds as far as how the legislature will act on future things regarding the juvenile courts and things, but we have allowed for future expansion to occur should that be necessary.
I might add, the county already owns the property, so we won't be buying any additional property. We have fiber optics available at that facility now, where we don't at Beth's facility or up at the juvenile facility up on Mary Street, or Kurt's facility. So, and that's always been a problem in the past when we've been communicating with the folks in Topeka, was the lack of fibers. And so down there we have it already in the juvenile detention area, so it'll be easy to use and utilize.
It's my understanding also that the county owns some land across the street south.
Yes, that is correct.
And I think the plan, correct me if I'm wrong, the plan was that there is currently a playground area to the west of the juvenile detention facility, and I think it's planned to maybe move that facility on across the street to the south, so people that are, that use the playground area would still have some playground available to use.
Larry, I'd like to hear from Jim about the fact that what they do is a 24-hour-a-day intake program. So,
Jim?
Jim Wilkins from Youth Services. The question was about the 24-hour intake. About a year ago, we moved the juvenile intake from our facility up on Mary Street down to Katrina's shop at the Juvenile Detention Center, and that was done in large part to help facilitate the process for area law enforcement. Before, area law enforcement, when they would take a kid into custody, they would bring it to our facility for the intake process, and then if the juvenile was going to be lodged, they would have to transport them from our facility to the detention center. By moving the intake process to the detention facility, it allowed us to streamline that process for law enforcement. So now our staff go to the detention facility anytime a kid is taken into custody, and our staff go to the detention facility to do that intake process. When we're all right there together, should this pass, then our staff would be right there on site and even greater facilitate the process for the intake process of the kid, while still keeping the process a lot simpler for law enforcement, especially in a secure area for the intake process itself. So. Second.
Thank you.
Well, seeing no further questions,
I guess I have
Okay.
one comment or question. Nobody commented.
Steve Dyer, president of the chamber, and obviously we're a sponsor of this forum, and our board has come out, as Downtown Vision's board, come out in support of this program, and the biggest reason why is because it makes good business sense. And we're in the business of supporting business, and you know, everything you've heard today about the leverage of the money with it being a sales tax, and you know, almost half of that money comes from outside the community, and the city of Holcomb, the city of Garden City can leverage their money that they'll receive and do stabilize the mill levy, and then the county can be more efficient with the facilities that they have. So that's why the chamber board has come out and supported